So we're back with Messy on Purpose, and we have a guest today who has a very fat cat.
Yeah,
Kaylee,
you heard that right.
To tell us all about her big fat cat and how it's affected her social media, and we'll dig a little into social media and the negative comments, things like that. But let's start by telling everybody a little bit about you.
My name is Kaylee. We said that. I have 3 kids, and I have 3 cats. And
you have 3 now?
I have 3 now. I got one yesterday.
Oh my
wow.
God.
Yeah, I have a brand new baby.
You're turning into the cat lady.
I am.
You're scary.
I love that. Well, I have 3 kids. When I say 3 kids, no one's scared. But when I say 3 cats, they're like,
so true.
No one's scared. I'm terrified.
And I'm like, easy breezy, girl.
She's over here like, I got 5. I got a dog. That's more than enough.
But your dog's very hyper. Your dog is like a few dogs.
She is and she isn't, though. She, like, has, like, the burst of energy with people that are, you know, new. But, like, at home all day with me and Justin, she hates us. Like, she literally just goes and does her own thing. Like,
she's like a cat.
She's literally a cat when there's nobody else around. So.
Okay, so 3 cats, 1 new one yesterday.
Yeah, and then a few weeks ago, I made a video just making fun of the fact that my big cat, if you open up food or try to sneak a treat to my healthy size
Before you dive
one,
into the video,
okay,
tell everybody, because Heather hasn't heard either, like the story with getting this fat cat, right?
Yeah.
Like, how you got him, why you got him, the reason he's fat, things like that.
Yeah, I'd love to clear my name. Because people think I'm an animal
big
abuser.
Cat,
yeah,
as opposed to fat cat. She likes.
I
do
don't
you like to say big cat?
I just say she's fat.
Yeah, she says fat all the time. That's why I'm saying fat.
She's fine. The video calls her fat. She's not online. Like, she does not care.
She's okay with it.
Yeah, like you can't
like, I don't know,
cyberbully
she's not
her.
offended.
She can't read.
But they're leaving like rude comments.
They
to
are.
you.
Everyone thinks that I'm like abusive and I'm the reason she's fat. But about a year ago, it was like the first week of November 2023, we adopted her, and I wanted a kitten, and I was going to the Henderson Animal Shelter like every week, and they were like, hey, we have some kittens in. So I went in with my kids, and Sasha is her name now, but she was Chloe, and she was the only cat not in a cage, laying down. And she was huge. She doesn't walk that much. She was huge. She could barely walk. Her belly dragged the ground. She was huge. And I was like, oh, God, that one's big. And my toddler was like, this one. And I'm like, baby, but they have kittens in the next room. And she was like, no, she's perfect. I love her. And she like started like singing to her, and like it was the first week of November, so she had her like Halloween costume on, and she was Elsa, so she's like singing "Let It Go" to her and like serenading her, and I was like, okay, we're gonna get the fat one. And I asked them, I was like, oh, this one's the only one not in a kennel, and the lady behind the counter started laughing, and she's like, she don't fit. She don't fit in the kennel. She don't fit in the hole that they have to the litter boxes. Like they have like a 2-piece kennel, and they're like, she doesn't fit anywhere. She's too big. And I was like, okay, we're gonna take her. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna adopt her. And I was looking at the forms while they were getting her ready to go, and it said like, oh, you get a kennel and you get a collar. And they brought her out, and I was like, oh, where's her collar? And she don't fit one. She had this like layer of fat around her neck, like having an airplane pillow. So if you put one on, it would just fall right off her face, like just no neck. And I was like, this is a journey. And so we put her on a diet. She is the sweetest thing. She plays with my toddler every day. They have tea parties. She like lays clothes on top of her. And like,
did when you got her, did they tell you like why she was fat? Like,
yes,
why she was overweight?
They said that she came from like a cattery situation, and they had her in a really small cage, and they just fed her like a lot of unhealthy food, a lot of fast food, a lot of people food, and she was in a small cage, so she couldn't really walk around. And it got to the point where she just, was dying, so they dropped her off at the shelter. And she was an owner surrender.
Just dropped her off.
She was an owner surrender, and they basically were like, she's so fat, like she can barely walk. Like, you know, they expected the shelter to euthanize her, and the shelter didn't. They, you know, they fixed her, gave her shots, and then started working with her. So I guess when the shelter got her, she was even worse. And
How long did they have her before you got her?
They said she was adopted 3 times and returned before I got her.
Oh
We were
my
the 4th
gosh.
family to adopt her because they would adopt her, and then they were like, you know, she can't clean herself too well, she can't walk that well, she needs like a really big low litter box, and it's gonna be like you have to sweep it every day because she kicks it out and stuff. And I guess people just didn't like the mess and didn't like how
You
lazy
didn't
she
know
was.
that's what you were getting.
Yeah.
Come on.
I think that it was like the novelty of like, this is the biggest, because most people, it's the biggest cat they've ever seen. It's the biggest cat I've ever seen. And yeah, it's been a year now. She's lost 14 pounds, which is a lot for a cat.
Wait, what was her weight when you got her?
I think it was almost 40 pounds.
Oh my god.
So even though everyone online is like, she's huge, like, what are you feeding her? That's abuse, whatever. I'm like, we're rehabbing her.
Yeah.
Like, she's walking with ease now. Like, this is actually a good video.
Yeah.
Like,
And she started out like the weight of my dog.
That's
Yeah.
And I have a pit bull.
crazy.
Like,
yeah. And, like, now she can fit, like, a dog extra large sweater. So I put her little Christmas sweaters on her now. But she's, like, the sweetest cat in return. And now she can clean herself, and she can use the litter box. And she's a little bit more of a normal cat. But she's still big.
I mean,
She's
it's
still
a
a big
long
girl.
journey.
Yeah, and I didn't want to do anything too drastic or fast because I didn't want to hurt her health. So she's a good cat. I did not want her or pick her out because there's a lot of people saying too. They're like, "You're such a saint," and I'm like, "No, I'm not.
You're like,
Like my
kid
daughter
picked her.
made this
I'm
decision.
forced into this, and now I have to be a good person."
You're like, wait a
So-
minute. I came for a kitten.
Yeah, I was like, I was looking for a kitten, but it's okay. She's lovely, and I love her. And then, yeah, I posted a video just making fun of her fat self, and I call her fatty all the time. We all do. Like there was one time my daughter was dressing her up for a tea party and had put like a tiara and a dress on top of her,
Oh.
and then I was feeding them, so Sasha stood up and came over, and all her clothes fell off, and my daughter just goes, "Sasha, you fat lard! Now you're naked."
Can we make a t-shirt with that on?
You fat lord, now you're naked.
And I feel like that's something from Napoleon Dynamite. That sounds like a line from that movie.
All right, so the next episode I'll have t-shirts. No.
You fat
T-shirt
lard,
ideas.
now you're naked.
Can we use your cat as a mascot?
Yeah.
Absolutely. She loves attention. Like if she had an Instagram, she'd be so happy.
Oh my gosh.
I
And
think it's
probably so famous.
Yeah, it's at 24.4 million views now.
Gosh.
And I've been on like news channels. Like it's insane because I think it's like a 20-second clip. Like it's a
And what is
short
the
little
so
video.
the clip is just you were giving your other cat a treat.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, when you try to sneak the skinny one food and the fat one hears. And it's like, it's just her waddling in like she always does. And people love it. They really identify with her. They're
identify
rooting
with
for
her.
her. Like, you know.
So what do you do for like, obviously you're giving the cat less food.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
Way
given,
less
right?
food.
But like, how do you exercise a cat that big?
You know, she actually gets a lot of exercise from just following my toddler around. Like,
Oh,
that's
that's
her
good.
main exercise because she doesn't play with toys. She doesn't, like a laser pointer, she'll bat at it, but she won't stand up for it.
How old
Like,
is she?
They estimate she's between 5 to 8, but they wouldn't give. So the shelter told me she's 8 years old, but then her groomer said she's younger, and her other vet said she was around 6. So.
Okay.
I feel like it's not
I'm
much
just-
different than like people. When people
Yeah.
are overweight, it's harder to tell.
Mhm.
Like you age more when you're unhealthy.
Yeah.
Well, and I was gonna say, I think one of the things is when you start losing weight, you have more energy, and it is easier to get around. So then
Yeah.
she would want to like move around a little
And that's
more.
kind of what's
Right.
been happening. Like she
Mhm.
used to, when I first got her, she barely moved.
Yeah.
And now she's all over. I have stairs and she'll go up 3
Mhm.
and then lay down for a few minutes and come back down. But we're working on it.
Yeah.
Because she used to not be able to go up any stairs.
Yeah.
At least your toddler keeps.
So yeah, it
Keeps her
keeps her
going.
keeps her busy. She'll set up little tea parties and Sasha will like sniff the fake food on the plate, and she goes, "Sasha, not yet. Wait." Like, it's so crazy.
Sasha is all of us.
Yeah. I just love it because so many people are like, "We're rooting for you," and I'm like, "Yes, we are." Okay, Sasha, like, you know.
So talk about that a little bit, because you have the people that are supportive, but what's going on with like people with the negativity?
So I feel like there's a few different like ways people are being negative. The number one is just people just being like, she should have been euthanized, or like,
Oh,
you
that's
know.
awful.
And then I think a lot of people assuming that I made her this way.
And how can people say that,
Like-
but they don't say that about overweight people?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if somebody's
Yeah,
fat,
just
I don't
let
go,
it-
oh, they should just get rid of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drop them off
And
somewhere.
Yeah.
yeah, and like in my other video, I talked about like how I fed them because people were so curious. I was getting like 10 DMs a day. Like, how do you feed her? What are you feeding her? And I don't know if they were curious because they wanted to just know, or if they were just like, because you're probably doing it wrong. Like, that was like the vibe.
Yeah.
So I made a video just showing like what I do to feed them. And yeah, it was really judgmental. Like, I started deleting negative comments now because I was like, this is a lot.
Yeah.
Like, people, they're just looking for the negative about it. But I'm like, you know, when I see like an overweight person trying to eat healthy and like work out, I'm rooting for them.
Yeah.
So it's just, and that's most people, I think. But the negative ones are just nasty.
But they're nasty people in general, probably.
Probably.
Like, they're not happy in themselves. They have to
Because
have...
who sees a 20-second cat clip and is like, fuck you guys?
Oh, yeah. And, like, that's mostly what you see online in general in comment sections.
Yeah.
It's just negativity. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even read comments.
I shouldn't. I really shouldn't. I just get so curious. I have to.
I get curious, and then I start reading, and then I read, like, 4, and I'm like, okay, they're all the same, and they're all kind of, you know?
Mean.
So, like, I just stop reading them.
Well, I've never been very popular online. So I'm like, I'm also just like, oh, wow, hi. Thank you.
Guys.
I had one video that went crazy, and like there was so many negative comments, and like what was
Okay.
so funny is like they were like, "Oh, she'll never get married. She'll never like I'm happily
I'm
married."
freaking
Like
married.
I'm like, my husband loves me. He doesn't like none of these
Like,
thoughts are
actually,
true.
my life is great.
Yeah, it's really great.
Sorry to disappoint you.
This was just a joke.
What's interesting about you saying that is I talked to somebody else that with a viral video, it was like, because of the negative comments and the negative attention is what actually forced it to go viral.
Oh,
as opposed
100%.
to like the positive stuff. And I was like, well, I don't want to go viral then.
I
'cause
love
don't
it.
want
So
to
I'm
be
like,
stuff.
oh yeah, you don't like my post? Keep commenting.
I feel
I'm
like-
not gonna read it anyway.
That sucks,
I
though,
feel
that
like if
people
I
are
was in it, I would.
faster.
If I was in it, I probably would be like, "Oh my god, like that's so hurtful." But it's my cat. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't
True.
care. Like, oh no, you hate my cat. Like,
But doesn't it
oh.
go to show that we are so much faster to criticize and be mean to people than
Yeah.
be uplifting and
Oh,
supportive?
100%. 100%.
And
Like,
they
you'll see
wouldn't
something
say that in
nice and you
person.
just scroll
Oh,
past.
No,
Yeah.
nobody
Like-
has the guts to say some of the things they say online to
Yeah.
people. Like that's just
Yeah.
never been a thing, and that's why they do it online because it's so easy.
Mhm.
And that's why you shouldn't read the comments though, is
Yeah.
because maybe that one's not about
Yeah.
you directly, but they're making a comment about how you're taking care of your cat.
Yeah.
You know, and now
is
it leads
kind of
into other
attacking.
things, and
Which
that's attacking
sucks,
you. And then
yeah.
now you're reading negative comments that are affecting your insecurities.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why, like, I don't read the comments for a reason. Like, I don't read them because it might not, like, I don't take it. Nobody's hurting my feelings.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
that's a fact. I mean, you both know that.
Yeah.
But just reading something that's negative about you over and over and over again,
Yeah.
you will start to believe that even if you don't think you are.
But where's the happy medium? Because she also has people that are
Being very
and like
supportive.
that's awesome
It's
that you're
pretty
doing
half
this.
and
So
half.
if you're
Like-
not reading it, you don't get the positive reinforcement
Well,
either.
you can usually tell by skimming, though, if there's a good comment or not,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Oh, another negative aspect that's come from this that's been so surprising is the amount of people trying to steal my cats.
What?
What?
At least 20 now. I get DMs and like, so basically they'll say, oh, and you know, I have 702 in my Instagram like username. So they'll say, oh, did you get her from a shelter in Vegas? Because my aunt died and she
Lord.
looks just like my aunt's cat. and we'd love her to be returned to our family. And I've gotten like grandma, grandpa, like all the different stories saying like, oh, or like my cat went missing, and it's like,
this cat did not go missing.
She
This
was an
cat
owner
40
surrender.
Pounds,
she could barely
able to
walk. Where was she running to?
She ran away.
How did she run away?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
They didn't have
she
to put her in a
can't
kennel,
even run.
not because she didn't fit, because she ain't going anywhere.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
she wouldn't move. Like, they told me, they're like, we're not scared of her running off. And then I found out when I got home, like, yeah, she barely walks.
Yeah.
Like, where is she going? And yeah, the amount of people trying to steal her was shocking. And some people tried to steal both my cats. They were like, oh yeah, my aunt had those 2 cats and they got put in the shelter. And my second one is a British short hair that was a gift that I got from like a breeder. So it's like, this is a very rare pair of cats. Like, shut up, that's not your cat.
Well, and you're like, the one didn't even come from a shelter.
Yeah.
How did it be your cat?
That was sent to a shelter. And also, every vet, every groomer, everyone that's seen Sasha said, this is the biggest cat I've ever seen. So, like, what are the chances? It's 0. Like,
And multiple people?
yeah, 20 now.
Jesus.
Like, it might even be more. I stopped
sorry.
reading my message requests.
I don't mean to. I'm not laughing.
It's just
like,
so
it's
bizarre.
Just crazy to me that
Yeah.
like, what is the point of you trying to take this cat?
Like, what do you want to do with her? Like, she
Make
doesn't
their
do
own
anything.
videos? Like,
yeah.
That's probably what it was. Like, your video went viral,
Yeah.
and like these people are like, "Oh, I want that cat." You know what I mean? Like,
People
and
are just
they know that you got it
jealous
from a
and
shelter because you
I've
said that.
commented yeah.
And so, I mean, they're like, "Oh, this
That's
could
my
be the next, like,
opportunity.
you know, what was it, the angry cat or whatever?
Grumpy cat?
Grumpy
Okay.
cat. That's
Yeah.
it.
go to a shelter and adopt an animal
Yeah,
of your
there's
own that you want to
plenty.
love and take care of, not just.
If
Oh
you
my
want to
God.
make sure that it'll get in front of a camera, bring your camera, because my dog does not like the camera.
I was
she
gonna
gets
say.
mad. Like,
Oh my
she
God.
literally won't look at you. She'll stay turned away.
You think she knows?
I can't even. Yeah, no, she knows.
She like
She's
knows
like,
what
"My
it
It's
is.
probably my fault because I was used to take selfies with my dogs.
Yeah.
And so like she hates
She's like,
it. I
"Eh."
can't even believe I got a little clip yesterday
Yeah.
of
And
her
it
like
looked like she was
smiling.
smiling.
And it was just because she was
Yeah.
so hyped. She just got in the car and didn't know what I was doing. But
Yeah.
She didn't see the camera.
no,
She
if
was
she
like,
sees it though, she won't.
game
But the
over.
thing
Yeah.
is, behind what we're talking about is the cat isn't a novelty. This is a living
Yeah.
being
Oh,
that you're
100%.
taking care of, and you had to go to some extreme measures in the beginning, like
Yeah.
making sure she had a litter box she could use, cleaning her. Like, this isn't just a
Yeah,
novelty
I was
for
giving
you to
her a
get
bath
viral.
every 3 days.
Yeah.
And like now it's like once a month or so because she still struggles to get like her back. And
Yeah.
and like if you watch the video, also people commented that she has a little dandruff, and I'm like, well, she can't clean herself, and I
It's
do
so
comb her
easy
every
to
day.
judge
but
other
like,
people and how they're
Yeah.
taking care of somebody or something when you're not doing it.
Well, people
Yeah.
do the same thing with kids.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
I
all
do
the
judge some
time.
parents,
Mhm.
but and I'm not a parent
some
myself.
parents
but,
deserve
like,
a little judgment.
Yes.
though.
Yes.
Unpopular
Some-
opinion, but yeah, I'm judging you. Like
Yeah.
especially if it has to do with like welfare and safety. Like
Yeah.
yeah, or health.
health.
Really overweight children.
Yeah.
That
But-
bothers me a lot.
It's hard. I would never say anything, but I am kind of like, there's things you could probably be doing differently.
Mhm.
Yes.
You know, I would never say anything because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Unless they were a close friend or relative, then I would be like, what are you doing? You know, but
But if we're talking about something like the cat having dandruff,
yeah.
I can tell you there are days I've dropped my kids off at school and they looked wonderful, and then picking
Yeah.
them up, it is a whole different thing. Like,
yeah.
something like a cat having dandruff, you're having to bathe the cat more excessively than you would have to
Yeah.
bathe a cat.
Normally you
Usually
don't
you
really.
don't.
Yeah, you
So
don't really bathe.
that's
a cat.
going to cause dandruff. That's going to cause dry skin, and that's what people are pointing out is that the cat has dandruff.
Yeah,
Like,
they're just like, the cat has dandruff. She's vitamin deficient. She, like, everyone's a vet all of a sudden.
Mhm.
Like, probably 10% of the hate comments are professional
What
vets.
do you mean? Everyone
Like,
online
yeah.
is a professional in something,
Professional,
right?
Yeah,
Right.
they're doctors, they're
Yes.
veterinarians.
they're professional.
Their sister had the exact same situation, or,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
or whatever it is.
My sister's cousin's sister, like,
Yeah.
Wait, wouldn't that be her sister's cousin anyway?
I don't know.
My sister's
Sister, cousin, sister.
boyfriend's
Removed, twice removed.
neighbor.
Yeah. Second, eighth cousin. I don't know.
How did the two cats get along? Did you have the fat cat first, and then you
Yes.
adopted the other one?
Yeah, the fat
Okay.
cat was my only cat. And then when she started being more healthy and walking around, I was like, and I heard it from the shelter. I've heard it a lot throughout my life. Is just like, oh, it's healthier for cats to have a little friend.
Companion,
They get lonely. And
Yeah.
so when the kids were back in school, I was like, oh, we should get a little friend.
Mhm.
And when we brought Sage home, she like ignored her. Like they don't bother each other. I didn't realize Sasha's a grumpy old lady that like doesn't want to be bothered. Like the only time they really interact is like Sasha will like smack her away from her bed and her area. 'Cause Sasha's very territorial over like her little bed and like her little area. And she's like, as long as you don't come over here, I don't care. But we're not friends. So like they avoid each other. They don't really hang out, and that's why I got the third. Because now the second one's
Like, bring
lonely.
Somebody else.
Because the second one was lonely, and she would like, she's
Is she
mean.
younger?
Yeah, she's
Okay.
a lot younger. She is 8 months old, and she's mean to Sasha sometimes because she's so bored. She'll
wants attention.
smack her and then run up the stairs because she's like, you can't chase me. Like,
Oh.
you can, like,
My dog did that to a
Oh
blind
my
dog.
God.
oh,
You would throw the toy and he
Oh
couldn't
my
find
God.
it, and she'd be like, I can.
I'm not blind.
Oh, these
Oh my god.
animals.
They're just like
They're
people.
animals.
They're people without politeness.
So let me
Yes.
ask you: before you adopted Sasha, fierce as she is, were you more of a dog person or a cat person?
I just love animals.
Yeah.
I just love animals, but I just don't have time for a dog.
Mhm.
Like, dogs are so much more
They are.
work. I feel like a dog is like a half a kid.
Mhm.
And, like, to me, having kids is easier than dogs because the workload goes away
Lessens.
as they get older.
Yeah.
But a dog, it's always the same workload. Like, I don't have to, like my older one, like, he does his thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
he's just like a roommate that's, like, really broke.
Yeah.
But, like, if
Broke
I had a
little bestie.
dog, yeah, if you have a dog, you're, like, picking up the poop every day.
Mhm.
Like, it's not in one little area. You have to, like, go find it, like a fucked up
He
Easter egg
wants your
hunt.
attention all
Yeah.
the time.
You have to walk them, and, like,
Yes.
you know, it just seems like a lot more work, where a cat is just chilling. And, like, a dog can, like, ruin so many things. Like, they're just capable of, like, ruining. Like, I had a dog eat a mattress once that I had.
What?
And, like, eat through a kennel and, like, eat the carpet under the kennel.
We had to get a lion kennel for our last dog because
That's
he would just
crazy.
tear up
Chew
everything.
everything.
Because he had separation anxiety. So like anytime he left,
Yeah, that
he
was
would just
my
tear
dog.
stuff up. And so Justin used to have, because he had this dog before we got together, and he had a regular cage, and he could break out of that.
Mhm.
So like he would just go crazy until he like broke out, I guess.
What kind of
So-
dog was it?
Pitbull. And so we got like a lion cage, like heavy duty.
Yeah.
And luckily, like when we got Nala, I think he just tried less.
Yeah.
Too, because they would be in there together. But
So he doesn't have
it was-
separation
it was a
anxiety because he
disaster.
has a little friend.
like there were sometimes he would poop, and it would just be you'd come home and there's shit everywhere in
Everywhere.
the kennel, outside the kennel.
Like,
Like,
I love dogs, but I can't do that.
oh,
Like, I don't want to yet. Maybe when I'm, like, bored.
I have
might
like a
get
cat dog.
eventually.
So like my cat dog doesn't really do anything, and it's kind of nice. It's gonna be really hard when she passes away to get another one,
Oh,
like because
Yeah.
it's so easy.
How old is she?
She's like gonna be 10.
Oh.
So she's getting
I've
up there,
heard,
but she don't even act
Like,
like it.
after 3 years, I feel like dogs are the best.
After
But, like,
They
but, like,
settle down
because,
a
like, the
little bit.
first 3 years, like, they're, like, in their teen years, and then, like, their
Mhm.
20
I
years.
think it depends
and,
on
like,
the dog though. Like
Yeah.
some of them just don't ever grow out of it, you know.
I know
And-
people like that.
Yeah.
Like,
So no, we're lucky. She's like a cat. She's literally like she just doesn't do anything. She doesn't tear anything up. She's like sleeps the entire time we leave. Like
Aw.
we've never even had to kennel
do you
her.
have pets?
I have a small dog. He's a toy poodle. His name is Pepper. He is 10 months old.
Oh, he's
And-
still a baby.
My God, baby is
Yeah.
right, because
He's
my
so
children
cute.
have gotten older. My youngest is 9, but my others are teenagers or they're into their adulthood. And I got bamboozled with the dog against my will.
Her sister got her.
My sister and mother, thank you
Oh
very
my
much,
gosh.
brought him. And I love him to death.
Yeah.
And I have more time for him now that the kids are older. And like you said, they need less.
Yeah.
But my God, it is like having a baby again.
I'm trying to get her to get it certified as a service dog,
I
so
want
it can be in
to
the salon.
Bring
all
him
the
into
time.
the salon so that
Yeah.
he can be, because he just wants all the attention all the time. Like, he is such a little lover, and he gets so excited to see me. So it's like good for my heart
How
because
big
my
is he?
like 4 or
Oh,
5
it's
pounds.
so
Yeah.
small.
And so, like, my kids now, they're all doing their own
Yeah.
thing, and Pepper is very excited to see me when I get home, but I'm like, please leave me alone. Let me just have
You're
5
like, I'm
minutes.
touched out. Like, I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah, I'm like, just go, and he wants to, like, be right here, like, in my face.
It's a
and
boy dog thing too.
He-
We've realized like boy
God.
dogs want all the attention.
He wants
Females
to be on me.
are like, eh.
And the thing is, I think
like more independent.
people
Yeah.
are more a cat person or a dog person, like one that they lean more towards based off their personality. And I'm very much a dog person. I've never had a thing for
Yeah.
cats, but I don't have the energy currently
for a dog.
for a dog.
Yeah.
With him being that young, I think
I
when
hope
he
you
gets
can
older,
bring him in.
Yeah.
I want to meet him.
he's adorable. He is the
I get
cutest
so
thing ever.
scared
but
around
God.
little tiny dogs, though.
Scared?
Why?
See, I'm
Like-
scared of cats.
Well, like little dogs. I love big dogs. Like I had a Great Dane. Like I love. If I were to get a dog, it'd probably be a pit bull.
Yeah.
Like I love that breed. I
They're
love like
just-
hardy dogs.
yeah.
Because they're
Like,
tough.
Well,
but
I'm
they're
scared of
sweet.
like accidentally like stepping on
Stepping
it
on
or
it.
like kicking
Yeah.
it. Like one time I accidentally kicked my sister's chihuahua.
Mhm.
I was like holding a bunch of stuff and he was like doing figure eights.
Yes.
And he was fine, but like he yelled and I just felt horrible. I'm like crying, like I'm sorry, baby.
Oh.
Like, and he was so little. I'm like, did I break you? Like, are you okay?
And they will get up under
Like,
your feet.
Yes.
With a quick
And I was
burst.
holding like big boxes. Like I had no idea he was
I
down
grew up
there.
with one of them little ankle biter palms,
Mhm.
you know? Like, looked like a little ball of fluff.
Yeah.
Little
And
pom-pom.
it bit, like, everyone
Oh,
that came over to our
no.
house. Like, oh, yeah, I'm not a
I feel
big
like
little
Pomeranians
dog.
are big on that.
Oh, yeah, they're
Yeah.
just...
Yeah.
And, like, it liked my dad. My dad didn't even want the dog. And it was just like, oh, my God. I
That's
couldn't
how it
have a
always
boy
goes,
over.
though.
Yes.
As soon as like someone is like, I don't want this pet, like that's the
They
favorite
attach
in the
to
house.
them. That's Pepper with me. I'm like, Pepper,
Yep.
go to one of the kids.
That little ankle biter. So my like first boyfriend or whatever, like, you know, anyway, so I talked to his like wife, this is a while ago, but anyway, she said something about how they got one of those,
Uh-huh.
and he was super skeptical because of the one that he had to deal with at my house.
They would fight him all the time.
I also think that there's a thing where like a lot of people when they get a small dog is like, oh, I don't have to train them; they're little. Where like big dogs, people are more on that.
They do that. So Justin's uncle has like a little Shih Tzu, and they have to like walk it for it to poop. It won't poop in its own yard. It's like super untrained. It's like aggressive towards other dogs.
Oh.
Like it's
Yeah.
super bad, and it's just because they didn't train it.
Yeah, I don't think that
Yeah.
depends on the size of the dog. Like,
It's the owner.
my ex-husband, he has a German Shepherd that they train like police training and stuff. That was his
Mhm.
dream. Like, he wanted a police trained
I want
German
one of
Shepherd.
those dogs.
And the kids have been around. His name is Cash. They've been around Cash. They help train Cash and like follow through on his training. So AJ, my 15-year-old, he has trained Pepper. Like, Pepper, sit, stay,
Yeah.
don't move. Like, if
But
you
like
want this
you
treat,
can train them,
Mhm, yeah.
but a lot of people
People just
don't.
don't. They think small dogs are just supposed to be like cutesy running around
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah,
Like, I don't
it's a
care if you
baby.
weigh 4 pounds or 40 pounds. I still want you to
You're
like,
gonna listen.
know what to do.
My
Yeah.
dog don't like it, but I got rules.
Yeah.
You've seen. You've seen. I yelled at her multiple times.
Yeah. Poor baby.
So we will not go on a walk until she poops first. I'm not picking it up.
Yeah.
That's my rule.
I
You're like, we'll
I
be here all
hate
day.
that. I don't have a dog. I do dog sit for my friends frequently.
Mm-hmm.
So like we just had my friend's dog that's like a wiener dog named
Uh-huh.
Cash for like a week. And yeah, I hate that. There's something so embarrassing about like picking up the poop outside.
I don't like it.
I
And
do
stinks.
it, but it's something so embarrassing about it. Like someone's just watching to like make sure you do it. And
Yeah,
I'm just
that's
like,
the part I don't
I'm
like.
doing it, damn it.
Because then you look around and you're like, I'll just cover this one with a rock.
They're like the poop police. You better pick that up.
Well, like, I always do it. It's just awkward when you look around and there's someone like this.
watching you. Yeah.
Like, hands on the hips, like,
Karen's gonna get you.
Like, is it your poop?
The pee ones, though, it's like, my friend has a pit bull, and she walks him around her neighborhood every day. Her neighbor came and knocked on her door to talk to her about it and was like, your dog peed on my bush.
Oh, well.
And she's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, what do you want me to do? And she's like, you brought him over to specifically pee on my bush.
Yep, and I'm going to do it every day now. Go away.
She's like the sweetest girl in the world. Like, she was just kind of like, what the, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
I would have been like, okay, we'll probably do it tomorrow too. Have a great day.
Like, dogs are supposed to pee outside on things. They sniff and they pee. Like,
so my boy dog that we had before, like, he's passed now, but so when we used to go for walks, he's an adventure pooper. So he likes to poop multiple times on the walk. Well, I got to the point because I walked them both by myself, so like I had like one of the little like running leash ones, you know, that go around and then hook them to me, and so I'd have them like walking right next to me on each side, and like I'd walk fast enough to where like you can't stop to poop.
Yeah.
And he got to the point where he was so good that he would do a drive-by poop into a bush and not even get it. He was funny too. Like his adventure poops, he'd back up into a bush. I was like, "Yeah, that's a good boy. I got to pick that up."
Oh my god, that neighbor would have totally freaked out.
Drive-by pooping. Yeah,
Oh
and like that lady,
best.
he even told her she even told her, she was like, "Oh yeah, I have you on my camera," like a threat.
What is it against
pee.
the law for
It
a
was
dog
pee,
to
too.
pee on your
Like
bush?
I would be like, okay, if it's poop, yeah, like maybe bring your dog to a trail or something, but like
Or pick it
was
up,
pee,
like-
but it was pee.
Yeah.
And she has like the cutest little like fanny pack with bags, you know, like she's prepared.
She can't pick
but
up
you can't pick up pee.
She needs to start carrying a spray bottle to like
With like
spray
vinegar
out
and water
pee.
to like clean your butt. It'd probably kill the plants. I don't know. Does
Clean
vinegar
your
kill
bush.
plants?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Does it hurt bushes to be peed on?
I'm pretty sure it's fine. The bushes get probably enough water and stuff. I think they're fine.
Man,
you
every
know?
time I
Like,
go to her
it's-
house, I'm like one glass of wine away from like peeing on her
peeing
yard
on
myself.
the bush. Yeah.
Like,
We
you
should
know
all just
what?
go there and just pee on our
Just
bush.
pee on the bush.
I have one of those like shiwi peas for like when I hike.
Perfect.
So it's like I could stand there and
You
I would just
should.
confuse everyone because they'll just see me standing.
Like, it wasn't the dog that peed on your bush.
That was
okay?
me,
It
and I hope you have it on camera. Tag me.
And then, like, moon her afterwards.
Dead.
Like, wear, like, a skirt so you can do it underneath, and then just, like,
Just pull up the very front of the skirt to pee.
and then you turn around and you're like, and here's my butt.
I love this.
Oh my
This
God.
just went really dark.
This got weird.
We're
but
all
that's fine.
incriminating ourselves right now.
They don't know where. They don't know when.
They don't know what bush.
They don't know
Oh
what
my
bush.
Gosh, I cannot believe you would have that big of a fit over a dog peeing on your bush.
I wouldn't talk to someone. Like, I would be like, oh, a dog peed on. Like, I
would
wouldn't
you
think
even
about it.
like think twice if you
I
saw
don't
it on
think
your
I
camera?
would even
Like,
check my cameras.
No.
I don't check them.
Well, and
Unless
here-
something's up, I don't check my ring.
Most people's front yards are ran by the HOAs here
Yeah.
in Vegas. Like,
It's
almost
true.
in all of the
Yeah.
little
Do
neighborhoods.
you live in an
Yeah.
HOA?
Yeah.
yeah.
And, like, who cares? The HOA has to deal with it if it dies.
Yeah.
And I don't think a dog peeing on it's gonna make
It's-
it die.
It
Like,
won't. Not these bushes and
And it
stuff
was-
that are
It
planted
was
in
like
here.
the
a
desert.
2-second thing. But yeah, and then I went to her house and like she is also my personal trainer. So we go to the gym all the time. And I went to her house and I was like, oh, like, I don't remember what was happening. I think she was running late or something. And I was like, can I walk your dog? Because I love borrowing people's dogs. Like that's like, I volunteer to babysit dogs and like, I love borrowing. And she was like, sure. And she was like, oh, just don't let him like use the bathroom. Like be careful. There's speed walk past this one neighbor. And I'm like, and that's when she
I
told me
would
the story.
literally stand there
I
holding
would-
the dog over the
Don't
bush.
you go to potty?
I was respectful, but yeah, every
I
time
would've.
because we do like little like paint and sip nights at her house, and like we do little nights like that, and like I know I'm like 2 glasses of wine, I'm not gonna pee on your neighbor's bush, but like one more,
Give me 3.
it might happen.
And I expect to
If
see
I
a
show
little
up in a
video of
skirt,
that, if that
just
happens.
So
No.
when's the next paint and sip? I'll come. I don't even need wine.
She
She's
doesn't
like,
even
I'll do
need
it
a
sober.
weepy.
No, I don't even need a weepy. I'll just squat.
It's a very square bush. I don't know.
With
You have to
one
kind of
leg
angle
over the
yourself.
bush.
Yeah, you have to.
I don't
leg-
know if
leg
that's.
up.
Did you learn from the drive-by situation with your
He was
dog?
Yeah.
really good. He was
She
really
was like,
good.
I had the dog teach me.
she taught
I know the
dog.
technique.
Don't let her fool
Oh.
you.
He was so funny, man. It
We've
was
invented
pee and
drive-by
poop, like,
pooping.
just drive-bys.
You invented
The
drive-by
drive-by peas
pooping.
are
I did.
much easier.
That's what happens when you walk fast.
Yeah.
Just gotta go on the
Oh
go.
my God.
He hated walks.
So are there plans, just to change the subject from the wee pee and the drive-bys and stuff, do you have plans to get more cats?
No.
No?
No
You
more
think you'll
cats.
stay
Three
with
is
the
a
three?
lot. Three's a lot. And I wouldn't have gotten the third if
Give her 10 more years.
The
I know, I was
second-
The
gonna
kids
say, I
will
feel
be
like you're gonna
out
get
and
more.
then
you know what? When the kids are out and their rooms are empty,
She's like,
I'll
"Cat
have
lady."
like 2 per room in my house.
That's
This
a lot
is
of
your
cats.
room. This is your room. Would you ever get a cat?
as long as they can have
No,
their
I can't.
own
I'm allergic.
rooms. Oh, you're allergic?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I still play with them, but I
Yeah.
can't have them in my house.
Yeah, because it would be like constant.
Yeah. Like I leave like a friend. We go over to their house for like UFCs
Yeah.
and stuff, and their cat, like I'll leave and I'll be all red here. There, I had a paw print one time because the
So
cat
is
was
it,
so
is
cute.
it like the dander or is it just like the whole thing?
I
Like,
honestly have no idea, but it's worth it though. The one cat's super fluffy and really allergic because it had the little paw print on me, and it was like laying next to me, and I was petting it, you know. And then Justin touched me, and it went,
oh,
and it was super cute.
Oh.
So I like cats.
just like
I
that cat
just-
loves me.
Yeah. I was just like,
The
the other one was wild.
I am not a cat person in the slightest. And Avery, God bless her, my assistant that works for me, she adores cats. She
Yeah.
thinks cats are the greatest animal. And she gets very upset at me when I say I don't like cats. But I had a nightmare when I was a child that cats killed me. Like, just
Oh,
murder.
fair.
Oh.
I was scared of
Was
clowns
it like
for
a
the same reason.
reoccurring nightmare? Like
It
multiple
was,
times?
you know what? I think it was self-induced because my grandmother had a cat named Jezebel, and she was a larger cat too. And the grandkids, we would all go over there, and she would hide under grandma's bed because she wanted nothing to do with any of us kids. Rightfully so. But she would be under the bed, and we would just see her eyes like glowing, and she'd hiss at it. We'd be like, Jessie, come out here, and be like, and that's all we would hear and see is like the see, and it gave me a sour taste
For cats.
about cats.
Yeah.
And then I had the dream that the cat killed me. And then I think I watched Pet Cemetery, and it was like the animals coming back to life and stuff. And I was just like, oh, I'm not
I've never
doing
seen
cats.
it. I don't think I want to watch that.
Was the nightmare like vibing with that movie?
Yeah,
Like,
where
same
like
kind
the
of
cat,
weird
I was
vibe?
just in this room, and the cat tried like, ugh.
It's
anyway.
just zombie animals.
And
Oh,
so I've
good.
never really
It's
been
weird.
around.
That
Yeah,
makes me sad because that means they're dead.
yeah. But then they came back to life, and it was like an evil zombie.
So I just
Yeah.
like animals in general. Like I cry over the stupidest things.
Yeah.
Like I don't cry over people. I'll go to a funeral. I won't cry. But
Alicia,
no. Listen, my dog smashed a lizard, and
Oh.
like I started crying. Justin was like, "You got to put it out of its misery." I was like, I can't stop. I'm about to cry now just talking about it.
Oh.
Anyway, and then he had to stomp on it, and this
Oh,
lady's
no.
like watching us, and she's like, "Oh my god!" I'm like,
Oh no.
and then I cried over a fish. I can't go fishing. So I think I told you about that. So we went fishing, and like a few times we went fishing, it was fine. You threw the fish back, it was
Yeah.
fine, right? We went on this like charter boat thing, and I didn't know what that was, and
Where they're getting like the big fish.
so we're catching
Yeah.
fish, and then this
Yeah.
guy's like chopping them up next to me, like,
Mhm.
oh my god. And then Justin got one in the eye, and I just started crying, and I was like, I'm done. I didn't even want to catch any fish. I didn't want to.
I don't like watching movies where the animal dies.
No, I'm
I can't
literally
do that.
crying
Yeah.
thinking about a fish, guys. So
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm not heartless, but we're telling the story.
it's only because you know me so well. It's weird to see me upset about something, and it's something as simple as like a little animal. But to
Especially
me,
the
Yeah.
fish.
so like, yeah, it's a fish. I know it's a fish. It's a fish. Like I eat fish, but I can't see the head. Anyway,
Yeah.
And the hook
But
going
my
in the
thing-
eye is a little. It's a
that's
little
still
more
traumatizing. Still
painful.
makes me cry. But I won't go fishing anymore. I already know that. But like my thing is like, so animals are so like innocent,
Innocent,
right? Like, they're just
Yeah.
innocent. They're not doing anything
They're
wrong,
just
but
pure
existing.
instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like kids to me, like,
Innocence.
I would murder somebody if I seen somebody mistreat a kid.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I really, like, I think I'm meant to not be a parent for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, I'd end up in prison. Like, and I just, like, think, like, even just watching shows about pedophiles or anything like that gets me, like, all, like, tore
Mad.
up inside. Like, and so, like, it's the innocence. Now, a grown adult is different. Like, there's
Yeah.
not that innocence anymore, because now you know better. You know right from wrong, you know? And you still choose to do the wrong thing a lot of the times.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't have the same sympathy for, like, grown adults as I do for children and animals.
Yeah.
Mine's all situational. Like, it just depends on the situation.
I agree more with
completely.
you. I feel like I'm more on that plane.
Yeah,
Because I don't like to see animals hurt at all.
Yeah.
I ran over a dog one time in my life. Oh my god, I'm telling you,
God.
it still makes me want to
Yeah.
throw up when I think about it, because it was
I wouldn't be
like
able to live with
Cheyenne
myself.
Boulevard, where it's super dark. Like, there's not
There's
street
no
lights.
streetlights.
It was super dark. I was leaving nursing school, and I'm driving on that road, and it was so dark, and I felt something like like under my tire, and I was like, oh my god, what was that? Because I've never hit anything. I've never
Yeah.
hit an animal. And I pulled over, and it was a little dog, and like I had to call I didn't know what to do. I was like, do I call 911? Like, what are they gonna do? It, to this day, and that was 14, 15 years ago, it makes me ill to think about it. But like fishing, I grew up fishing, and
Yeah,
you catch the
me
fish
too.
for a purpose,
You
where
eat
you
'em.
catch the fish to eat the fish. So it doesn't bother me.
I think if I thought that it was especially painful, though,
Yeah,
it
that
would
would
bother me.
be
Like, the eye thing just sounds especially painful.
Yeah.
Like, my uncle took me fishing once, and he had told me, he was like, I felt bad because they were flopping around for a long time, and I was like, oh, is it hurting them? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, is there a way we can do it quicker so
Yeah.
that they're not hurting? And he was joking, and they were not big fish. They were
Yeah.
about this big and like this wide. And he was like, well, you can bite its head off, and that would end it right away. So I did.
Oh my gosh.
And I was fucking joking.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't want it to
You're
be
like,
hurt. And I have like blood in my mouth. And I was like, I didn't want it to be hurting.
You're like, I'm trying to spare the
I'm
poor
trying to
fish.
do the right
Oh my
thing.
god, I'd be so traumatized.
Felicia's traumatized hearing the story.
I was only like 10. It wasn't like.
She
It
didn't
doesn't matter.
Felicia.
It's still so sad.
Don't ever
didn't
tell that
know.
story again.
Okay, here's the thing. Like, I'll never stop
didn't
eating
know
meat
better.
or fish, but like, I
Yeah.
can't see it die.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it comes down to.
It's
Like,
hard.
Justin has to learn how to hunt. Like, I
Yeah.
can't learn how to hunt. Like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
You're
do
like,
it.
I am the gatherer.
Yes. I'll
You
cook
are the
it.
hunter.
Just take the head off.
That's fun. I mean, I
Oh
think
my
it
gosh.
kind of
that
like
really
she
made
said,
me
being situational. Like, it depends on how
I
you're
didn't want it
raised
to
and what you're
suffer,
around.
to be fair.
You were trying to spare it. Like,
And then he was like, Jesus Christ. And he was
What
like,
is
you can
wrong with you?
you can bang it on the side of the boat. Like, you don't have to like
that seems cruel too. Like,
Yeah.
I can't believe you bit it off.
it wasn't big.
Well, I hope not. Can you imagine? She can't.
I just
Shoving the big old fish.
Like,
I was trying to do the morally right thing, and he's a very sarcastic man, but like I don't read sarcasm that well.
So you were like,
I don't read
right?
sarcasm that well. Like when we were kids, I used to always just think he was
You
was
took
crazy.
it literal. If you're like,
and
okay,
he would
well,
say the
that'll help
craziest
it.
things, and I was like, "Yep, that's
Yeah.
Uncle Scotty. That's what he does." And
Mhm.
you know, now I know that most of what he says is sarcasm. Like he's
Are you
not.
okay?
oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
I feel like we've gone from talking about wee cups and peeing on bushes to
To,
biting
like, crying.
fishes' heads.
I'm sorry.
This has been
A journey.
very interesting.
It's a good one. It's a
It
good
has
one.
been good. Felicia's gonna cry a little bit.
We can
She'll be
move
all right.
on from animal cruelty.
Yeah, and no more animal cruelty.
No animal cruelty.
Intentional or otherwise.
I got vulnerable for the first time on camera.
I know. For the first episode that we've done, and we've talked about some serious stuff, but
I told you, animals,
fish,
animals
man.
are kids.
Animals
Like,
do
that's
it.
the one thing that'll make me
Yeah.
cry.
Oh.
I hate it.
Me kids. I think there's a website you can go to. Someone told me about it like the other day because I had mentioned like I don't want to see any movies where animals die. And they're like, there's a website where you can like put in a movie and it'll just say if an animal or a kid dies in it.
Aw.
and like I'm gonna start doing that.
It doesn't
Yeah.
happen that often, but I also
But when
I
it
don't
does, it
watch.
stinks.
I don't watch a lot of like the like drama types where things people
Yeah.
die or like scary movies. Like I stick
Well,
to like comedies and like
yeah.
rom-coms, you know, like so nobody ever dies.
I
And
don't
if
watch
they
a
do,
lot of
yeah.
TV and movies overall, I think, but there was like this Will Smith movie where
The
he had like a
one where the
German
dog-
Shepherd,
yes.
and like
Oh.
that stuck with me. I didn't like that.
fast-forwarded
Yeah.
that part.
I think I was in a theater, or I was either at like a movie party or theater, but I was like, I don't like this part. Like,
Mhm.
I felt
But see,
bad
like
for that.
I'm also the person that if it's gory, I close my eyes.
Oh,
So I don't.
you don't
blood.
like horror films?
No, I don't want to see blood. Like
Mhm.
that girl's eye at the Tyson fight thing.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like the
Her
the
eyelid.
fight.
No,
before,
I
did
didn't
you,
see it.
You know,
I only
okay,
saw the last 10 minutes.
she had
of the
like a
fight.
gap
Yeah,
that
she
big
had a
from her
split.
like eyebrow
Ooh.
down to her eye,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I honest to God thought I was gonna throw up. Like
Mhm.
I kept covering my eyes.
I
I
don't
mean,
get-
like I was tired anyway, so I was like, ooh, maybe I'll sleep a little bit.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, it was. I can't handle that.
I don't get squeamish. I don't really. I feel like I've seen a lot.
I don't
don't
like
I think
really-
it's harder for me to watch them hitting each other than to see like her eyelid. It was just like, good lord, her eyelid's falling
Oh,
off.
they can hit each
It
other.
didn't
all they
bother
want.
me, but like seeing them, like when she kept rubbing into the girl's eye, and you knew her eye was already injured,
That was
that
cheating.
bothered me.
That was
That
cheating.
bothered me more than seeing the blood. Is like
Yeah.
you're trying to hurt
Well,
her.
and you said you were a nurse,
Mhm.
so like you've seen like I was a CNA,
uh-huh.
and like I just feel like you get kind of desensitized.
You do get desensitized to things like blood and stuff.
See,
like
I always
that.
knew I wasn't meant for that because I like
Yeah.
want to throw up when I see a booger in Justin's nose. Like, I don't do well with kids and their
Oh,
grossness. You
I
know?
love,
Like-
I love that kind of stuff. Like I really do. I was actually just looking into like going to school, going
Wound
back to school to
care?
do like esthetician for like skincare.
Okay.
I think it's satisfying.
Yeah.
Like,
Nope, I'll
all
pass.
the gross stuff.
I don't even
I
really
love
like
it.
touching. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it took me a long time. I have a friend that could tell you all about it. Like, I didn't even like being hugged,
Yeah.
and now I hug people. But like,
I hug
It
her
took me-
sometimes, and she's like,
Like
you
just
see, it's still like not
creeps
fully
away.
there, and I have to be like in the mood for the hug.
"Yep."
But like, I just don't like being touched. I don't like
Mhm.
touching like people. So like, doing things that you guys enjoy. Like, I couldn't do people's hair.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't even like
No?
brushing my mom's hair as a kid. Like,
you can't
I,
do people's hair.
No,
What's
no.
about it? Like, is it like the oil, or is it like
It's just people are
like
gross.
oily hair?
I don't know. It's just people are gross. You know, you don't know what
We
you're gonna
are.
get.
We're gross little sacks of flesh.
Yeah, like at least
True.
like when I personal trained, like I'm not touching that
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
They're sweating and
Only the
shit,
weird
but, like,
trainers touch.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to touch them. Like I show them what to do, or maybe like I'll correct them a
Correct
little
their-
bit. But like usually you're not doing a whole lot of touching, and like that's the closest I've came to a job that like requires touching. Like people
Yeah.
used to like try to hug me.
Do you
and
like
stuff at
getting
the
your
bar.
hair done, or do you like?
I mean,
Is
I
that
don't mind
kind
it,
of a
but I
thing?
also am comfortable with who does it. So
Mhm.
like,
How long have you
Yeah.
guys been doing her hair?
a few years.
I'd say since like it was right after COVID, so 2020, 2021.
Like 5 years.
21, I
4
think, because that's when I
years?
moved. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a while, and then like I've only had a handful of like hairstylists.
Yeah.
Even. I'm very like loyal, and I pick people specifically that I like that are good
Yeah.
at what
Well,
they
especially
do.
when you're blonde,
Mhm.
it's
That
a
too.
dice roll. I've had 2 hairstylists.
Mhm.
Like, and one I had from high school all the way up until 2021,
Mhm.
and then the other one I've had since then.
Yeah.
And it's like, I marry them.
The
Right.
only reason I changed was because I moved. So
Same.
like I
I
moved from
moved.
Iowa, and then at Denver I had the same girl the entire time. And then when I moved here, I had one person before her that I didn't like, and then Heather ever since. Yeah.
yeah.
And same thing with like anything else. Like
You like routines.
yeah, like Hannah that does my brows, like I stick with her. Like Tammy does my
Your
Botox.
brows look amazing.
Mhm.
Thanks. And so like Tammy with Botox, like those are like my people, you know, and
Yeah.
like I'll recommend them to anyone and everyone because like I am very selective and I know they're good, and I'm not gonna like suggest somebody who's mediocre
Yeah.
just because they're a friend and they do it, you know. So like I'm very
Well, and
dedicated
to be honest, like anything, like doing hair, being a nurse, intimate sounds like a weird word to use, but it's an intimate relationship.
It is.
And
Yeah.
people come in, and I say this, like, a stranger sits down and I'm immediately in their personal space,
Yeah.
touching them. We open up, we start talking about things. It's one of the professions along with esthetician.
Yeah.
And then it goes into the medical field, nursing.
I
where
feel like it's like
they
you're always going to be part therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
on
and
top of
people will
everything.
open up to you and allow you, because you wouldn't walk up to some random person and be like, hey,
And start
you
touching
know, and
their
start
heads.
touching them and
Yeah.
stuff. But people are okay with it. You're allowed to do that.
Especially, like, I don't know, being blonde, it's a hard process. And
Mhm.
like I've gone, so I've tried a lot that I've seen one time.
Mhm.
Because I was like, you know, it's trial and error
Yeah.
sometimes. You have to like take that gamble. And it's like, man, they'll really fuck up your hair. Like,
Mhm.
you will have bad hair for a long time if you go to the wrong person.
Yeah.
Like,
The girl I seen when I first like moved here,
yeah.
I actually had like my hair was completely dark, like my natural color,
Yeah.
and I was like going blonde, and I was like, I just want a little bit. Like it was right before I was getting married. I didn't want to go too crazy, like,
Yeah.
and she cut it. Like one, it was like
Oh, I
the
hate that.
streaks were just it was just horrible.
Chunky.
But yeah, it was just it just might as well have gotten it done at home. You know, like it was horrible. And
Yeah.
then she cut it weird. So she like cut it like super short. You remember when I first came
Yeah.
in, like it was like shorter up top. I was like, I hate it. I was like, let's not cut it for a little
Yeah.
bit so it could grow out, because like it was just horrible. And I was just like, I left there. I was pissed.
I had the worst experience. So, I was in modeling and acting when I was a kid, and I wanted to spoil my mom because she grew up pretty poor and like didn't have a lot of money. And I was like, let's both go get our hair done and like go get blonde highlights and cut and everything. And she's like, it's too expensive. And I'm like, I'll pay for you. Like, I was so proud of myself. Let's go. We went to this really nice salon in the Bay Area. They fried our hair. Like, my
Aw.
hair, I just wanted highlights. She put in so many that it looked like I had just bleached the whole thing Tweety Bird yellow. And like from here to here was just broken, thin little strands. And then my mom had the worst because she started from the back and went up. And my mom has really thick hair. It was 2 hours by the time she got halfway through. And my mom just wanted highlights. So it's like, you could have just did the top part kind of thing. And when she got halfway through, she's like, oh no, I have to go rinse you. Foils were hitting the floor with my mom's hair inside. So my mom basically had like an undercut. Luckily, she had such thick hair that like that you could not tell. So the next day, one of my friends had recommended this salon, and I was in high school, so like no one really knew anything. And it was like my
Yeah.
friend's mom. I told her what happened because she was like, what happened to your hair? Like I'm a natural dirty blonde, and then I came to school, I was Tweety Bird yellow all over. And she was like, you should go to this salon and have them fix it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's expensive, you know? And I was like, but we have to. Like, our hair,
It was
both of our
that
hair
bad.
looked so bad. We went in, and they were like, you know, we're not going to charge you full price because we know that you just paid a lot to get this done. And the girl fixed my hair. She put in low lights. She cut it, and she toned it, and it looked so magically better. And she did my mom's hair, too, and it looked magically better. And she took us the next day. I saw that hairstylist for 15 years. I was like, we're married now.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
your proposal to me, and I accept.
It's
Thank
hard
you.
to find somebody that like is good at
Yeah.
the art of hair. Like it's
Yeah.
anyone can do it.
And
Yeah.
here's the thing, I'm
But-
going to advocate for hairstylists really quick, is there are situations like that where maybe you took on too much or you're trying to do too much more than
Yeah.
what somebody asked for. But the thing is, you do really, like what she was saying, she's tried people once, you know, every hairstylist isn't for every person.
Yeah, I mean, she could be perfect for someone with really thin
Exactly.
hair that
Somebody
like
else that
wanted
wants
more
something
something like
different.
that, but just
And
not us.
I think in the time that I've been in Vegas doing hair, I've seen thousands of people, you know,
Yeah.
that have come in that maybe they only come once or twice a year. Or they found somebody that was closer to where they live, or it's more
Yeah.
convenient for them or something. But to advocate for the hairstylist, there are situations, and I would say 90% of clients that come in here for the first time, I'm doing a color correction on them.
Yeah.
Because they've been somewhere else and they either couldn't, for the clients, didn't express what they wanted clear enough, or
Yeah.
had expectations that were unrealistic, or lied about their hair history and what they had going on their hair.